Hello, scholars. So here we are after an extended spring break with a very different approach to the world. Uh, as so many of us are saying, myself, probably you've said this, we've never seen anything like this, and it's possible we may never see anything like this again. And it was 1918, the last time we had such a crazy pandemic here in the United States of America. But that doesn't mean we don't keep pushing forward, right? So things are changing at the school. Things are changing in your personal lives. Things are changing in your work lives. And we're seeing what we do and don't value in our work lives, in our personal lives, and in our school lives, which is pretty interesting. And I, like a lot of you, I'm really looking forward to a year from now when we start looking back on the COVID-19 pandemic to talk about what went right and what went wrong, what we could have done a little bit better, what we wish we'd been prepared for, and how things will change moving forward. Because this is going to be one of those life-changing events, of course. I think the most recent one we've had here in the country was 9/11. After the Twin Towers fell and terrorism fell down upon the United States, we changed a lot of the way we travel and look at security. And now here, after we go through this pandemic, we're going to change the way we look at healthcare. We're going to change the way we approach online communication. We're probably going to change the way that we prepare every semester just to walk into our classrooms. And I'm curious to see what that means. And I hope that all of you stay safe and are able to look back on that with me. And that's really one of those big things right now. Take care of yourselves. I know I brought that up at the very beginning of the semester, not even fathoming anything like this could happen. But please, folks, please take care of yourselves. Now, possibly more than ever, that statement is ringing more and more true and more important in our lives. Uh, and I look around the town and I look around the state of Rhode Island, like when we just go out for drives just to get out of the house or try and find like a place with no people that Willow can go and run around. There are folks gathered together everywhere. And it's insane. And we all know that's not safe. And it's changing, of course, what we can go do in public. Like, I'm not going to the park with my dog like I might normally have done. And I'm sure a lot of you have changed some of your normal behaviors. But it's going to change what we do here at the school, too. For what we do in this class, it seems like on the surface that we wouldn't change much. But my plan had been to start talking about our coursework rather than to lament about our current crisis. My plan had been to have you seek out someone in the business or professional world that has a job similar to what you would like to have after school. And for you to go and spend time with them, to shadow them for a half day at work, to ask them questions about what they do, to interview them, to report back to all of us, to build a resume speaking with them, to build up interview skills speaking with them. And obviously that's not really something we can do right now. Certainly we could try and find a virtual way to go and do it, but at the same time, many of these people, they're home, they're out of work now, they don't have the same sort of online technologies that we use in their home lives, or if they're working, things have changed very dramatically and they're probably stressed and can't be bothered to take on additional duties, such as what we might ask them to do for help in a course like this. Now, we can still do some things that'll be beneficial to us afterwards, and we're going to start in on this week. So rather than go out and find somebody to talk about resumes with, we'll have 2 assignments this week outside of discussion. And the first assignment will be due Thursday evening, and it's very simple. I would like you to get online, which obviously all of you can do, and find a sample resume related to whatever you want to do upon graduation from school. When you were done, either with your 2-year degree or your associate's degree from a 4-year program, or even from a graduate program 6 or 8 years from now, what is it that you want to do? Pop onto Google or Bing or whatever your search bar is and type in, like, for instance, resume, doctor, or oncologist, or communication professor, and find that resume and submit it to the appropriate assignment in this week's e-learning site as is, with an explanation of what you like about this resume and what you don't like about this resume. You're going to use it as an exemplar. And Sunday evening at our usual time, I would like you to submit your own resume. And I know, your resume can't be completely filled out right now because you haven't finished school, because you don't have a lot of degree. But what I want for you to do is get this ready so that when the time comes to build up your resume so that you can send it out to start looking for a job, that you have a solid start on it. And of course, you can talk about things like your employment history, what you did in school. But you also should think about things like, what clubs were you part of? Have you done any volunteering? Were you in Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts? Do you help out with the PTA at your kids' school? Things of that nature. Because we aren't just interested in your education and your job history. When we're hiring people now, we're looking for complete human beings. People that are going to be pillars of the community, that'll stand tall and lead us in times of, maybe even times like this, or with COVID-19. So you can put in things like, I ran a book club, or I did this extraordinary thing in high school. Maybe you set a record on your track team. You were recognized for having planted a bunch of trees around Arbor Days. Things of that nature. It's just something that helps you stand out. And you really do want to try and find something that's a little bit different than what everybody else might have in there. When we're hiring people now, we're looking for something that helps you stand apart from everyone else. Because if your resume looks exactly the same as everyone else's, why should you be hired? So I've included a do's and don'ts worksheet for your resume building here. And I think the thing I would like you to fall into most importantly is no more than 2 pages, right? Because people that are hiring for jobs with a lot of applicants, they don't have time to go through a bunch of things. And I know every once in a while people put together like a large resume and send that out, but that's going to get in the way. Also, no frills. Please don't put fancy borders around everything, a bunch of colors. Nobody wants to look at that. What they're interested in is who you are, what you've done, and what you can bring to that company. And weird calligraphy at the top of your resume doesn't really tell anybody anything, unless you're applying to be a calligrapher, right? Now, some of you may be thinking of a life in academia, in which case we build a CV. That's going to be a little bit longer, and so you'll be expected to create a longer resume type thing. A CV is a curriculum vitae. It means academic life. For your reference, my CV is 10 pages long, but it lists out everything I've done. So all the conferences I've been to, all the publications I've done, what I've done for all the classes that I teach, things of that nature. And for those of you that have not gotten into like teaching and publishing and all that stuff, your CV will be a little bit shorter, but it is still like something that you can get started on. So that's the first part of what we're doing this week. The second will be a reflection on what's happening here in the world. So in our discussion this week, and we're going back to the large discussion with everybody on it because I want you to take a look at things. I would like you to create a video that talks about, and I want us to be honest right now. This is okay. I want you to talk about what you're struggling with. What is happening right now that's making it difficult for you? And it could be things like, well, I'm an extrovert and I'm used to going out and interacting with people. It could be I can't go get groceries. It could be my gym is closed. It could be I miss going to class. Really anything. Because what we want to do for our replies this week is try and give each other a little bit of hope. Try and provide something to one another that helps us get through this with a little bit more sanity. Makes us feel a little bit better about the things that are happening. And we can do that for each other. You know, as many of you pointed out, we're building bonds. We're getting to know each other. And we're enjoying our discussion together. And it's okay for us to talk about things that are bothering us. In a sense, it's almost like therapy. And I'll be honest with you, my classrooms are kind of therapeutic things for myself. Now moving online with all of my classes, it's not the same, of course. I mean, we saw this 2 weeks ago when we got together in our small groups and just got to chat. There are so many different things that happen with the face-to-face communication. Even when we're doing synchronous communication online through Skype, it's so much different than a videotaped presentation and then written responses. And for me to step out of my classrooms and go completely to online, it's difficult. That's what I'm struggling with, that I don't get to go and spend time with my students. That I don't get to see and hear what's going on in their lives quite the same way. And I'm attempting to regulate that, to replicate that as much as possible online. So we're doing synchronous class meetings. I've downloaded Zoom and paid for a subscription. And we're going to be meeting that way this week at Bristol Community College. So I can still see them and interact with them a little bit and give them some semblance of normalcy. Right? The other things that are happening this week. So I'm sure many of you will have noted that your speech grades are online for those of you that have gotten your speech finished. And as promised, I was very lenient with your grades because, again, we're just learning what this class can be, and I'm just happy to see what you're doing and reward you for that effort. I did put in some feedback for everybody, things that I would like you to think about working on, things that could be improved a little bit, and generally something that went well. So feel free to shoot me some questions, emails about that, and I look forward to hearing what's going on with your lives. And I very much hope that all of you are staying safe and doing things to keep yourself sane and reaching out to the people that matter to you and helping them do the same thing. So we'll see you all online, and please, as always, let me know what questions you have and what I can do to make things easier for you.